Happy Sunday night, y'all. Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina with another Sunday night live stream show. That's right, it's Sunday night, y'all, and it is time for that live stream show. So make sure you check out the video tonight and hang out, grab a drink, relax. We are going to get started here very shortly. Don't forget to comment where you're watching from. Don't forget to like the video for us and share it. Share it on your favorite Facebook group, your fishing club, your timeline. Share it around. Tell your friends and get your venting tool and get ready for another great episode of this Sunday night live stream show. We do this every Sunday night. We always give away tons of free stuff, over $700 value in free stuff given away every episode of this live stream show. So hopefully you guys are excited and ready for another great episode. Got Captain Frank with me tonight. How you doing, Frank?
I'll get back with you. I'm texting right now. I'm just kidding. I'm doing great.
And we are excited for another episode of the show. We are trying to get rolling here right around 8:30, so hopefully we'll be starting very shortly around 8:30 p.m. Don't forget, in the meantime, guys, you gotta comment at least one time to get yourself entered in the giveaways. All you have to do is comment one time, and that one comment will enter you into the free trip giveaways. So make sure you comment one time, comment where you're watching from, and we will get you entered in the free trip giveaway, and periodically through the show we'll pick one lucky winner. And if your name gets picked, all you have to do to claim your free trip is to text that phone number in the upper right hand corner. That's how you get picked for the free trips that we're going to give away during the show. So make sure you take advantage of that and comment one time on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream. And then again, please like the video, share it with your friends. That always helps us out, guys. All right, we are just about ready to get started here shortly. Just waiting on the last couple things to get lined up here. Happy New Year, William. What's going on, Chris from Crystal River? Thanks for watching.
Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year to everybody. Touche. That's true.
Hopefully this year it's got to be better, Dylan.
There's only one way to go, and that's up.
Yep.
2020 hopefully can't get any worse, because it's been an interesting year to say the least. That's one way to put it, I guess, right?
Yep.
An interesting year, but it is behind us, thankfully, and now we have 2021 looking ahead, and we have got high hopes and good stuff to look forward to. Hopefully everybody's got their New Year's goals. Do you have your goals set up for 2021 there, Frank?
Just to get more venting tools.
I've
got a few.
Brad Wooten, thanks for sending 200 stars. Barry Long, thanks for sending 200 stars. Appreciate you guys. Todd Linus, Sandy Schaefer, appreciate you guys for sending stars too. For those of you watching, if you don't know what the stars are, it is a way to show your support to Hubbard's Marina, and it helps us do more of these live events, and generally helps us to make more shows and fuel the shows with more whiskey. But lately you guys have been doing that. We've got another bottle sponsor tonight. We're going to introduce her shortly. And Jonathan Gonzalez, appreciate you sending stars. Jim Evans, appreciate you, man. Mike New and Joey Barlow, thank you all. Mike New again, thanks, buddy. 100 stars twice in a row, you're the man. We are just about ready to get rolling, just need a few more minutes. Again, don't forget to like the video while you're waiting, comment where you're watching from, and tell your friends to tune in. Chrissy Payne, thanks for 200 stars, you rock. Heather Linus, appreciate you. Heather Linus works at the ABC Liquor in
I like her.
Tyrone.
I like her.
Yeah, she's awesome. She actually her name's on one of these bottles over here somewhere. But she
I like her more.
She got us that bottle of Weller. Well, she told me it was available, and I went and bought it. But I don't have it anymore. Something happened to it. There was a hole in the bottle.
I bet it was delicious.
It was good.
I would have loved to have tried it.
It was hard. It was the first time I ever was able to get my hands on one of them.
That's nice.
It was good. It wasn't Jameson Black Barrel, but it was darn good. Donna Langston, thanks for 200 stars. Joe, appreciate you, man. Thanks for the 100 stars. Terry Feather with 100 stars. Appreciate you guys. What do you want to talk about tonight, Frank?
Man, just being glad that that whole busy week between Christmas and New Year's is gone. I love the people, and we had a great time. We caught a lot of fish, but I'm ready to just slow it down a little bit, man. When we're rolling with 50, 60 people, it can beat a man up, man.
Yeah, it gets a little crazy. Yeah. And what's hard about Christmas week is we're slow, and then all of a sudden it's crazy.
And we just pray for good weather for those days, and we got through a lot more than we thought we were going to.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it just hits a wall and dies off, and that's what happened for tomorrow. It's just totally dead slow this coming week, and the first couple weeks of January are always extremely slow. So if you want to get out and have a lighter load, this is definitely the time to do it. The next couple weeks. This week we had single-digit bookings on the half-day trips. The all-day trips only have like 20, 25 people on them, so super light loads right now. And a great opportunity to get out in the water and get more one-on-one time with the captain and crew, and just enjoy it, spread out.
And a thing with that, I'm a firm believer. Are you going to show our faces?
We are. I'm still setting up the show.
Okay.
Come on, man.
I'm a firm believer in, the amount of fish we catch. If we have 50 people versus 25, it's almost the same.
Mm-hmm.
Almost the same. You do get a few more fish when you have 50 passengers on board, but you just get more fish per person when you have 25, 30 people, and that's what we're looking at least till I think spring break. Time is. Those are kind of the numbers we're going to be seeing versus those 50 and 60 people on the boat during this week.
Yeah, it's generally slower the month of January and like the first week or two of February, and then around Valentine's Day it starts picking up and steadily gets a little bit busier as we get into March, and then once we're into March it gets crazy.
But word's getting out because the fishing has been amazing. Absolutely amazing. We had a couple of days where we had a crappy morning and just finished strong. Mm-hmm. But the fishing in general have been, really filling up the boxes with hogfish and lane snappers, and the gags are gone now, but we got a few right there at the end. Had a couple of really nice trips for them and some red groupers, but I'm ready to start focusing in strictly on hog fishing now and getting some shrimp bombs made and getting the super shrimps out there that we've been using for chum and
shrimp bombs.
Well,
what's up, guys?
Hey. Yeah, a shrimp bomb. It's like we just
explain what a shrimp bomb is.
All right, I cut up a whole bunch of shrimp, really really small, so that you're not feeding them all in one bite. And I'll mix it up with some of that super shrimps and toss it off I determine where the current's going, and sometimes if it's rolling really fast, I'll throw it as far and hard as I can up the current, and hopefully it'll drop down where we're at. But I don't like dropping it all off the back of the boat, because then the fish are going to be all way in the back and past the boat.
You got to get it up current.
Yeah, but this week was you should have seen it. The current, the way it was ripping, the lines had to be 60 feet behind the boat.
Holy moly!
Yeah, with that moon, but the fishing was good. I just had to pull forward on the anchor, and I had to literally stop the boat where I didn't see fish to get the lines to go back
to the fish.
Yeah,
crazy. Tim Harris, thanks for sending 250 stars. Dan Netto with a big 350. Nick Nieves with 500. Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you very much. And a lot of other ones that we missed there while we were talking. Joshua Gray, appreciate the stars. Francine Brenton, appreciate you. Estelle Wolfman with 200 stars. Vicky Vasquez. And don't worry, Estelle, I gave Captain Frank his glasses. Now, hopefully he gets the commemorative glasses home, but that's on him. so I gave them to him. Aaron,
He did.
Aaron, appreciate the stars. Richard Blazak, appreciate the stars, buddy. We are just about ready to get rolling, and one thing that Frank was talking about was the shrimp bombs, and you brought up a good point. When you're chumming offshore, a lot of people talk about chumming for hogfish, and what a lot of people mess up is when you're offshore fishing or nearshore fishing, chumming is dangerous, because if you don't take into account the current and where that chum is hitting the bottom, it can create more problems for you, and you can actually pull the fish away from the spot and actually catch less fish. So you want to really make sure you take into account the current, and then also making sure that your bait is hitting in the same area that chum's hitting.
That's for sure.
Yeah, really tricky.
You don't want to just pull up on anchor, drop it straight down off the back of the boat, and hope for the best. It just doesn't always work like that.
Yeah,
a lot of times it does, but like if you have a week like we had where the current was ripping really hard to the north, it if we'd have dropped them off the back of the boat, the fish should have been 200 feet behind us. And it would have just screwed the whole day up. So.
Yeah, got to be careful. Got to take that into effect. And that's why making the bombs are so important, is because they sink fast, they get to the bottom fast, and they spend less time in that current getting dragged away from the boat. So always good to make sure you have some very fast sinking chum. That's why we really like that Super Shrimps. It's made by Aquatic Nutrition, and they sell it at Bass Pro and some local tackle shops as well, if you want to get it for your own boat. Michael Myers, appreciate the stars. Vicky Poole, appreciate you. Deborah Carpenter. And Betty Hall, our good friend Betty Hall, sent us 500 stars. And speaking of Betty Hall, let's introduce our bottle sponsor for tonight.
Boom. Lori Reinhardt.
Lori Reinhardt with a bottle of George Dickel.
George Dickel 12-year.
And she sent us a bottle of Jameson Black Barrel as well. So we're going to save this one for another episode, though. Yeah. Frank wanted to drink the Dickel tonight, so I relented and went away from the Black Barrel.
Well, how do you like it?
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I like it. It's good. It's kind of my go-to. I've had a few people bring me in. When they bring me in a bottle, that's what they...
Yeah, it's smooth. I don't think it has as much flavor as the Jameson Black Barrel, but it's very good.
Yeah, and it's half the price.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Touche, you got me there. But it's not Irish whiskey. But it is American whiskey, which is good.
No headache. I don't get any headaches from this one, but I drink in moderation these days.
I think other people watching the show could disagree with that. Chris Black, thanks for 200 stars. David Pruitt with 250 stars. Appreciate you. Catherine Narenjo with 200 stars. Thank you very much. So let's get started and show these guys and gals what we've been seeing out there. So lately, Inshore, I think this is one of my favorite photos that I've seen in a while. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. Just an old beaver there. And,
that was one of the first cars I had. I wanted a F-150. That was what I was searching for as my first car. Couldn't find one for the budget that I had. They're so expensive, even used. Right. And then I wanted a Jeep. Of course, couldn't find one of those in my budget range. And I ended up getting a 1995 BMW for cheaper than I could find an F-150 or a Jeep. And that year they didn't send an M5 over, so it had the motor of an M5. Yeah. It was a 540i BMW. It was nice. I drove it like I stole it, and the wheels fell off.
I've got my Jeep, though, and I love it.
Yeah, but that car brought back memories, and then the young angler, so pumped about catching that mackerel, made it all round out. It was pretty cool. So the mackerel are definitely around still, around the local fishing piers, Clearwater fishing pier, Skyway fishing pier, Fort DeSoto fishing pier, Anna Maria Rod and Reel pier, all good places to catch those mackerel early in the morning, from sunrise till about mid-morning. The redfish bite's been pretty steady. Definitely not setting the world on fire this past week. That pressure gradient sitting on top of us, that high and low pressure battling out, definitely made the redfish snook action a little softer this past week. The sheepshead, though, they didn't quit. We've been catching a lot of these sheepshead lately. We had some commercial guys fishing down on the dock, filled up a huge cooler of these sheepshead. Virtually any dock, bridge, seawall.
So they're breeding right now, then.
Yeah, they're starting to.
When the commercial guys are doing it, they've got to be starting.
Yeah, they're definitely starting to pick up. The trout are getting a lot bigger, a lot more prolific. Look at the size of that trout. That's a big one.
That's a fatty.
Yeah, catching a lot of them on those slow-moving, soft, plastic, white paddle tails. John Sasser here uses a tandem rig with 2 soft plastics paddle tails on a red head jig head through the passes, Sand Key, Clearwater, Johns Pass, Blinds Pass, Paso Grill, all good areas to target those snook at night for sure. Or
kinda
trout.
Kind of works like those old Love's lures that.
Yeah, Love's lures were the best trout. That's what I grew up on.
Yeah, me too.
My dad would take us out in the hub, just like a mile or 2 from shore, off that sandy bottom just south of the Reddington Long Pier. Well, what used to be the Reddington Long Pier. And we would drift around on the hub and just catch hundreds of those silver trout. They were so much fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it was a cool way to spend a few hours after school.
I caught, when I was a kid, well, gosh, I was probably in high school, but I caught 2 tagged snook on one set of Love's lures at the same time.
Wow.
Yeah, they were little shooters. They must have just dumped them there. I mean, they must have just released them there. Because, I mean, it was the same time, same shot. It was awesome.
That's cool.
Are these all pictures to show them today?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. We're going to show you a lot of nearshore and offshore photos. Randy Kessel, thanks for stars. Calvin Brisker, appreciate you, man. Gloria, appreciate you as well. Terry Feather with another set of 200 stars. That's 300 for Terry. I appreciate it. And let's get into those nearshore and offshore photos. We were able to get quite a few, and definitely some good ones in here. So the hogfish bite just continues to be very, very steady, and we're looking forward to more of it this week.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, got a lot of options for y'all.
Definitely going to be the main target on Tuesday and Thursday and Sunday.
And through all the half-day trips, tomorrow on the half-day, we got lots of good half-day options too. You can get a great opportunity for hogfish on those trips too. So
now Sunday we don't have an open boat all-day trip. Is that correct? We have the private charter.
Let's check. I don't remember. Oh, that's that private charter. I think was
Skyway.
Was it? Yeah, the Skyway Fishing Piers with Nick. I thought that was on. Let's see.
Just so they know if they're going to book that, for the Sunday.
Yes, Sunday, January 10th. We only have a half-day trip. Right. No 10-hour. Yeah.
So if you're looking to get on an all-day trip this week, Sunday's not going to be available. You're going to need to come out Tuesday or Thursday.
Yep. Good point.
Unless they're on that. I'm sure we have a few guys watching this.
Well, Nick is.
I just seen it. I just seen
sent
his
us
name.
700 stars.
Awesome.
Appreciate you, man. All right. So, no 10-hour on Sunday, but
I think they said
Tuesday
they wanted Nick, you guys wanted to target Spanish mackerel, right?
Hogfish and red grouper. That's what they're going after. That's what we're all going after on these 10-hour trips for the next few weeks. Really, the next couple months is hogfish, red grouper, lane snapper, and we've been catching a lot of red grouper lately. Red grouper bites definitely picking up, or actually, I should say, been steady. We've been focused on those gag grouper the last 2 months or so. So definitely looking forward to slowing down and getting a chance to dial in on these red grouper and hogfish in the coming weeks. So you can see from the photos, they've been doing well out there. Look at this photo.
Yeah, Joe smashed them on that trip. They
killed it.
I think he said they threw back 23 keeper red groupers because they had their limit, and they just destroyed them. That was a private charter with Ken and his brother, and then a couple other guys with them, and they had a really, really good time.
Yeah, they absolutely destroyed it for sure. They caught a limit of red grouper, and they were one shy of a limit for gags. And they peppered in some scamp grouper, blackfin tuna. They had some mangroves. It was a crazy good trip. Mm-hmm. Definitely one of my favorite photos.
I would have loved to have gotten on that trip with them. I just couldn't do it. I had to work.
That would have been fun. Yeah. Elizabeth Holland, thanks for the stars. Appreciate you. And Denoris Hall, you're the man, dude. 1,200 stars. That's awesome. Denoris and his family traveled down from Birmingham, Alabama to do that 39-hour trip. They come probably 8 times a year or more. Pretty cool.
It's a good ride.
Yeah, definitely some nice fish on that Flying Hub 2 private charter. We've been seeing some nice fish on the 12-hour extreme trip. Catching some of those.
I think John sends us that picture every week.
No, this is a different.
Or he just wears the exact same outfit.
And he always takes a photo in the same
spot.
Same spot, yeah. It's always as he's going to string fish. Yeah. nice hogfish from the Hub private charters. And then this is our friend Ashton. Shout out to Ashton. Him and his family came out on a Hub private charter, and he caught this nice grouper. Just able to take it home and enjoy it at the restaurant next door. It was pretty cool. And this is Colton. His family sent in these photos for the show. Colton was on the 10-hour trip with you, Frank.
Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, 2 gag grouper back to back, and then some nice red grouper as well. Nothing quite made it in the fish box grouper-wise, but he had a great time and caught plenty of other fish too. So, happy young angler. Wanted to get his photo on the show. And then we always have our friend Sophia, who works the deck incessantly when she comes out fishing with us. Tom Collins and
she won't scrub toilets though.
She won't scrub toilets. No. That's the line.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to have a line.
I tried.
I don't think you'll scrub a toilet either.
No.
I've yet to see that.
So we're kind of we're in the same boat.
Tom Collins with a nice all-day 10-hour catch.
He has been coming out with us for quite a few years and just has not gotten himself a keeper gag until. And he got on the boat and he said, "This is my last shot." He's like, "I want a keeper gag today." And I think it was like the second fish on the boat or something. I mean, it was quick. And it just doesn't happen that way where you're calling your shot. And then he's like, "No, I just want a hogfish." And bang, he gets a hogfish. And I think he got a couple. I think he caught 3 or 4 other hogfish. But
wow,
that was the biggest one. And
that's awesome.
I can't quite remember if the rest were keepers. But
that's cool.
Yeah, he was happy.
And then you guys remember we gave away a free Bull Bay rod with that Daiwa Saltiga reel. And the funny story behind it is father and son from Treasure Island watch the show every week. And they watch the show every week. And before the show started, they knew we were doing these extra giveaways for Christmas. And so the father said to the son, "Hey, if I win that rod and reel combo, because I just got one, I'll give it to you." And sure enough, he won. So he came in. He was actually on the 10-hour trip Monday morning. So he won the rod and reel Sunday night during the show, showed up at 6 a.m. for the 10-hour trip, claimed it, and walked it out and gave it to his son.
And that's cool.
Yeah, it was really
I kind
cool.
of knew the story already, so that was him, right?
Yeah. That's why I had to tell the backstory.
Oh, gotcha.
So this is Justin Meyer's son showing off his brand new rod and reel. And his catch, he broke it in with some strawberry grouper, lanes, gray snapper, porgies. Great time on the 10-hour trip.
And they're from out of town. And I offered that they could keep it at my house so that they didn't have to keep flying back and forth with it.
How'd that go?
It didn't work out.
They didn't seem to agree for some reason.
I guess Smokey had already suggested it, and he, of course, said that he had to pay him to keep it there. Dirtbag. But, yeah.
That's awesome. Smokey's always got an angle.
Yeah.
Estelle Wolfman, our good friend, showing up her big old red grouper. Some nice hogfish action here. And we're back to the John photo. So we did show it twice in one show. You got me there, Frank. But yeah, great
I wish you had posted that picture of the fish box that I sent you. But just so you could see how many fish we're getting on these 10 hours, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like if you know what you're doing, you can fill. Like we've got guys that are literally filling out the stringer. We've got to get them another stringer.
Yeah.
If you know what you're doing, that's how good it is right now.
It's a good time of year to get out there on the half day, all day, 39-hour trip. Speaking of good catches, we do have something to show y'all. The 39-hour trip did extremely well.
Sick.
I mean, the last 39-hour trip of 2020, Captain Brian didn't hold anything back for sure. So I want to show you guys this video real quick. It is absolutely insane. So if you haven't seen those big fish pile videos after a 39-hour trip, this is one for the record books. Definitely probably a top 5 catch for the entire year of 2020. And it didn't have any red snapper, no amberjack in it. Some of those trips with big, huge piles have a ton of red snapper in them and a ton of amberjack. This pile had none of either fish. It was all big snapper and grouper, so definitely check it out. And thanks Tracy O'Brien with 500 stars. You rock. All right, let's watch this video real quick, guys. And is the sound on? With an incredible, massive 39-hour. All right, guys, good morning. Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina with an incredible, massive 39-hour catch. They got a mountain of mangrove snapper, yellowtail snapper, gag grouper. It is crazy. An amazing catch for the last 39-hour trip of 2020. To say that Captain Brian went out with a bang is an understatement. Tons of yellowtails, big mangroves, lots of big gag grouper. It goes all the way to the side of the boat. Oh man, looks like you guys worked hard, Wilbo.
Man, we didn't sit down for 12 hours.
This is crazy. Massive pile of gags.
It started off just insane first spot. Insane first spot. Insane. We fished 3 spots until about 9 in the morning, and the fish were just shooing.
Whoa. 3 spots till 9 a.m. So you started fishing at what, 11 o'clock? You started a little early, too.
So we got a push on the ride out. And we probably only fished 10 spots this trip.
10 spots. The fishing was that good. Didn't have to move around, huh?
No, they just bit every spot. The gags were there. We lost a ton of gags.
How many gags do you think you guys caught?
I think we got 30 of them in there at least.
30 gag grouper. Holy moly.
Big one here.
That is a massive, massive gag. Woo! I heard you guys got some other pelagics too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a tuna in there. Definitely some kingfish. Yeah, a ling cod.
A cobia, nice. Very nice.
We caught a couple cobias, had to throw one back. Lots of yellowtails. Lots of these blue runners, and those blue runners are working great for bait.
Lots of blue runners, good for bait. That's awesome.
People
Big
are
mangroves.
keeping blue runners now for some reason.
Big porgies too.
Oh, it's just everything. They would not stop biting the whole trip.
I heard you guys got a mutton too.
I still got about a 10-pound mutton. I still got jackpot mutton, guys.
Wow.
Bearded Todd, we know you're watching.
This is crazy. Huge pile of fish.
It might be as much fish or more than we caught in red snapper season.
Yeah, this looks like one of the better catches for sure.
Yeah, this is the top 5 of the year probably, even with red snapper being in there.
That's awesome, man. Thanks, Wilbo.
Yes, sir.
You guys are going to be cutting fish for a while.
Yeah, we are.
Nice pile of fish. I don't know if I can even get around it.
Definitely.
It's crazy.
Very nice pile of fish.
Woo.
Incredible 39-hour catch, and what a way to end the year for those happy anglers that were out there fishing with us. Definitely a huge catch. Wanted to make sure we shared that with you guys with the photos tonight. And with that, let's get into the weather. Talk quickly about what we're expecting weather-wise this week. So going to our website, hubbardsmarina.com, under fishing trips, we scroll down to the weather links page. And on our weather links page, we've got the NOAA forecast, the wind finder forecast, and we've got the buoys, the live buoys, and the webcams. The webcams, we're having a little bit of trouble, but I think we've ironed it out. The Big Fish Weigh-In is working really well. So the webcams are on the weather links page as well. So we're going to try to actually load it live during the show. And
that mutton that Estelle got, she was in the snapper pool.
Yeah.
I just saw her post it. She got beat out by a mango.
by a big mango.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was 9 pounds and some change, I think, if I recall. I happened to go in there that morning.
That's crazy.
For some coffee, and
Yeah.
I was surprised. I was like, it was a nice mutton. I mean,
Nice mutton, but
to be
a
beat
nicer
out by
mangrove.
That's
a nice
beat out by a
mangrove.
mango. That's cool.
And of course, the webcam's not loading for me while we're live during the show. That's nice.
It's awesome. It works
Always-
really well, guys.
It worked well before the show. Always funny how that works, but it's a work in progress. Let me just tell you that. So right now, this week, we definitely see some nice weather. Tomorrow's a nice day, less than 2.5 foot for a majority of the day. Tuesday's about 2 foot or less. Wednesday's about the same. Thursday, it starts out really nice, less than 1.5 foot, and then Thursday late afternoon into Thursday night, it kind of picks up a little bit. So definitely the best days to go are definitely Monday through Thursday as far as the weather is concerned this week. Friday it gets a little bumpy, and then it calms down over the weekend.
I don't believe it. After what we just experienced this last week, they said that it was supposed to be 4-footer, and it was
stunning. This last week was a great example of why you have to always check the weather. And it was a struggle for me to get some people to believe me. But what happened this last week is we had what's called a pressure ridge. So we have cold fronts or low pressures move through the area, and then behind the low pressures, a high pressure builds in. And then the high pressure starts to recede as another low pressure pushes down. And so what happens in between that is called a pressure gradient between a high pressure and low pressure. And a low pressure was pushing down but stalled. So last week, that's what was causing that problem. And I saw that, by the way. And that cold front stalled. So they were calling that rough weather because that pressure gradient was going to move through. The cold front was going to make it rough. But that cold front slowed to a crawl. It was moving super slow.
But it was 3.5 footers, but they were like 10 seconds apart. You couldn't even hardly feel it on the boat unless we were heading right dead into them as fast as we could, could go. And that's about the only time. The minute we stopped the boat to anchor, and all the way home, never felt hardly any movement to the boat.
And that was a great example of why you have to check the weather a lot, because a few days before it looked like it was going to be absolutely terrible, but then it got nicer and nicer and nicer, and it still didn't look good. I think one day they were calling 4.5 foot seas, and it ended up being 2.5 foot seas. So it's good to be good, and luckily watching the weather patterns and educated guesses at the weather. So
the wave period is super important too. A lot of people look at what the waves, what the wave height is, but you have to look at that wave period, because if you've got a 4 foot sea and you've got a 4 second wave period, that is a snotty, sloppy day. But you'll see at 4 foot and it's 9 seconds apart, and you can still go out there in a 20-footer. That's nothing. That's like nothing.
So on the forecast page under Wind Finder, if you go to the Wind Finder links, I'm going to click on Super Forecast. This is what I look at. The forecast is just good to get a general idea of what's to come, but Super Forecast is where it's at. It only shows you 3 days, and you can kind of count on this a little better. And under the Super Forecast, underneath the wave heights, there's the wave period. So the general rule of thumb is 2. So, for example, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see it a little better. You've got wave heights, and then you got wave period below it. So if it's a 3 foot sea and it's a 6 second period, that's the rule of 2. That means it's very swelly. It's not choppy. Generally, that's pretty nice. But if it's equal or less, that's extremely choppy. If it's a 3 foot sea with 3 seconds, it's extremely choppy. And so that's what Frank was trying to say. So, with that, we talked a little bit about the weather, and we do have to make our big announcement. So we talked about this a little bit before the show started. We posted about it. So the big announcement is...
Dylan and I have decided to become life partners.
My wife would not be happy about that.
We haven't told her yet until just now. I think she should watch it.
Oh my gosh. No, our big announcement is actually that we are doing half price, 50% off on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday on our 5-hour half day. So 5-hour half day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is 50% off any new reservations. You got to have a new reservation, and the coupon code is live show, all one word. Coupon code live show. It's 50% off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 5-hour half days. So that's the big news. So instead of $65, it's only $32.50 to get on that 5-hour half day, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And that's a big thank you to you guys.
And we have been getting a lot of nice hogfish on that half day too.
Yeah. And a few lane snapper, a few mangroves, and then always tons of those gray snapper grunts.
4 or 5 keeper hogs and 3 keeper mangrove snappers, a lane snapper, and then of course the gray snapper. And if there were more people fishing for those mangoes, we potentially could have had even more. That's just the accident. So we probably caught 20 short mangoes.
Yeah.
So
it's a good time of year to get out there for sure, and light loads. And that's part of the reason we're doing the discount this time of year. It's definitely important to pay attention to our Facebook pages, the Hubbard's Marina page, my personal page, And then the supporters group, we've thrown them a couple deals as well. So the supporter, if you're a Hubbard's Marina supporter in that private group, make sure you monitor the page this time of year, because there's great high chances that there will be discount codes released. Edmund Landry, appreciate the stars, buddy. Thank you very much. So with that, we talked about the weather. We talked about the coupon code. And shout out again to Lori Reinhardt, our bottle sponsor for tonight's episode. You're the best. And we showed the 39-hour catch. The one thing we want to mention before we get into questions is don't forget about the supporters group after show. If you're a supporter or if you want to become a supporter, you get that special after show that happens in the supporters group about 5 minutes after the show ends. We started up there. So definitely make sure you catch that supporter after show. And no problem, Captain Brian. Anytime, buddy. So first question. So Jennifer Roberts said, watching the show tonight, can you please tell Yogi that a naked ball jig is a real thing? She thinks I'm making it up. Yes, the naked ball jigs are a real thing.
Yeah, it's not a picture that somebody puts on your phone when you're not looking.
Remember, did she do that to you?
No.
You sounded very defensive about that.
No.
It's something Jennifer would do.
Yeah, it's something I would do to Jennifer.
Remember we used to do the fish naked trips? Remember that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Back me up here, man. Yeah, so the naked ball jigs are a real thing, and the owner, inventor, Todd Cron, used to live locally and be very involved in the company, and every year we would do fish naked tournaments. And it was a naked ball jig tournament. You come out there, if you were using a naked ball jig and you caught a fish, he would give you cash on the spot. It was pretty cool. It was awesome.
He would say, like, if the next person that catches a lizardfish on a naked ball jig, and that happens all the time, and you get $20 or $40 or whatever it may have been, and it was fun. Yeah.
The fish naked days. So yes, naked ball jig.
They are a real thing, and they are highly recommended.
Yeah. What is your favorite color naked ball jig, Captain Frank?
White.
White?
Yep.
I like white too, and it's so funny. So many people are so into pink or green or other colors. I like it white just because it's a little bit more natural, matches a lot of those crabs that they're eating on. Yeah. But I know Christina Fernandez, who is probably a top dog angler when it comes to those naked ball jigs. She swears by the green.
Yeah, the fluorescent yellowish kind of. It's
like a yellowish green.
Yeah.
And then the owner and inventor, Todd Cron, he swore by the pink. So everybody's got their favorite.
It's that's what it is.
Yeah. All right, let's see what next question. Oh, before we get into the next question.
Give something away.
Yeah, definitely over time to give something away.
Usually I'm on you on that, and I'd slip in here.
What in the world? This was working fine a minute ago. Oh, there it goes.
Okay.
That was weird. All right. So let's give away our 5-hour half day for 2 people. 5-hour half day for 2 guests. Remember, if you're picked as the lucky winner, you have to claim that free trip by texting that phone number in the upper right-hand corner, your home address. James Seaman from Michigan. Appreciate you watching. Good evening from Michigan. You just won a 5-hour half day for 2 guests, James. So that phone number right above Captain Frank's head, Captain Frank pointed out for James.
I think you cleared something.
Did I clear something?
I was doing it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's the phone number, James. You got to text us in about 5 minutes to claim that free trip.
Yes.
To prove you were watching the show live. That's how it works.
It was Seaman from Michigan.
I got you.
Okay.
James from Michigan. Let's see what the next question is. What trips does Captain Frank have this week? What's your schedule this week, buddy?
I've got tomorrow morning's half day with 22 people on it. I've got our Tuesday 10-hour. I'm off Wednesday, so we'll probably drink Tuesday. No, and then I've got Thursday 10-hour and a Friday half-day trip, and then a Sunday private charter 10-hour. So
There you go.
It would be Monday, Friday, half days, Tuesday, Thursday, 10-hour.
Alrighty. Well, there you have it. Tim Corwin, thanks for sending 500 stars. You rock, Tim. And Tracy O'Brien as well with 500 stars. Thank you. Larry Christie, appreciate your stars as well. Next question. Craig said, please don't hesitate to pick me. That's a good way. Unfortunately, we don't pick anybody. It's a random drawing.
Yeah, but if it comes up now, you're going to be like,
yeah.
Fix.
It is a random name generator.
So we actually have to pull your name out of the generator now. So
it works well.
Yeah.
Do you have any old fishing videos from back with your grandfather or your dad? I don't have any handy for tonight's show. That one old school video was pretty cool. To be honest, growing up, my dad and I both were very, very poor at taking photos. My friend Nolan and his dad Scott, they took photos all the time, and Scott has big photo albums of all the fish that they caught, and I was always a little jealous of that growing up, because my dad and I never did that. We never took cameras out there, and now with the new age of digital advertising and social media marketing, it's like we take pictures of almost every fish we catch now, and it wasn't true back in my childhood. Yeah, and back then, I mean,
I did it. I actually had a camera that I'd keep in my glove box, and if I caught something really cool, and then have it developed, and but it might be months down the road, and you're like seeing pictures that from fish you caught from months ago, but just a few. I don't have a lot. I wish I had done more.
Yeah,
wish I had.
Hindsight's
I wish
always
I had
20/20.
a lot more pictures with my dad.
Yeah,
and fishing. I
Amen.
really do.
Yeah, I think I have more photos of my grandfather back in the day than I do of me and my dad fishing growing up. It is sad.
Yeah.
Michelle McNamara, appreciate you sending 150 stars. Randy Kessel, appreciate you, buddy. Let's see. Next question. A supporter from Wachula. What's up? What's going on? Thanks for watching. What would be a great tackle box bag that you recommend? And that's a hard question because everybody has their favorite type of setup to use for sure. I think everybody has a personal preference, whether it's a tackle box, tackle bag, tackle tray. I personally just recently went to a duffel bag from Bass Pro Shops that's watertight with tackle trays in it, and it's got kind of a hard case bottom, so that way it holds the trays. And the new Shimano, no, it's not Shimano, Plano tackle boxes are watertight, and nothing spills out of them, so it's really nice to just bring the waterproof bag and throw it up on the boat, and you don't have to worry about it. The tackle trays are waterproof too, so if you're going on,
like those trays that have the locks, 3 locks on them.
Yeah.
One on each side and one in the front.
Yeah.
And that does, prevent you from spilling them unless you set them on the seat of the boat and you wait for the boat to rock, because that happens all the time. But I get away with one sealed box that I keep, and I've got my ½ ounce, 1 ounce, all the way to maybe to 2s. My smaller leads, because we have 4s on the boat.
Yeah.
I would have those obviously in there too if needed, and then I have 4 through 8 or 4 through 7 size hooks. Yeah. And
for a 10-hour.
Right. And then some bead, we'll put some red beads in there, and and have a few different size leader lines.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I do, is I have that big bag with a bunch of tackle trays in it. And I use that mostly for longer range trips, like the 39-hour going out deep. But for the most part, on the half day, the 10-hour, the Flying Hub 2, you take that I take that big bag out and kind of set out the trays, and I make one box. I keep an empty box, and I just make up a small box to take with me.
Fishing in the grass flats, and you're using different types and different color lures and different action So just you can get away with one box on a boat or a trip like we offer. Whether you be on a overnighter, I guess maybe it would be pushing it unless it was a really nice size one. But the ones I like to. I think I've seen them with they have like feet on the bottom, like rubber, or maybe somebody put them on there where they wouldn't slide when they were open. But make sure when you come out on the boats, whether it be our boat, your boat, once you're done putting your rod together, put that box away. I can't tell you how many times they fall off the seats and roll all the leads right up under the railings. Now, maybe that wouldn't happen so much on a little boat, but the leads might not roll overboard, but they still make one hell of a mess.
Yeah.
And all you do is say, well, you think in your head, I told you so, because I make that announcement. Don't set any coolers, bags, or tackle boxes on the seats, because that's how it ends up. You get an hour of good weather, one boat comes by, one rock, and it slides right off. There goes your beer and your tackle box. It's very disheartening.
And which is more upsetting, the beer?
Well, it depends how many leads you lose. Leads are expensive.
Yeah. Abby, Rittmuller, Jackie, Ariel, appreciate the stars, guys. Thank you very much. But as far as to answer your question, what is the best tackle box or bag? I don't think I would feel confident answering the question for you, because everybody has their own preference as far as what style they want, whether it's a box, a bag, a tray. I like tackle trays in a big bag.
Yeah, soft-sided.
Yeah,
for sure.
Or a duffel bag, however you want to do it. But there's a bunch of different brands: Daiwa, Shimano, Plano. I think Plano's kind of the most popular, but there's a lot of options. Bass Pro has like 2 aisles of it.
Yeah, that's I didn't want to really go into that one. But.
Yeah. Went on your half-day trip this summer and had a blast. What would your best next trip be for me and my son? I would definitely recommend doing a half-day trip or 2 and then stepping it up to the 10-hour trip.
Well, a lot has to do with how old the son is, too.
Yeah, yeah, but most likely if they're looking for another trip, 10-hour would be your logical next step after you do a 10-hour trip and you're ready to take your son back out there. And then basically the progression, if you don't fish a lot, if you're a first-time angler, start with doing the 5-hour half-day trip. Do a couple of those, maybe 1 or 2 or 3, and then step up to the 10-hour trip. Do a couple of those. Do a 12-hour night snapper trip. Do a 12-hour day extreme trip, and then you're ready for one of those 39 or 44-hour trips. And that's the way I would recommend doing it. And then you can always pepper in some private fishing charters in there too if you want. Great options. So someone asked, is the 18-year-old Jameson worth the money? We're going to find out Sunday night on the live stream show. This coming Sunday night, that private charter we talked about, the 10-hour private charter coming up this weekend, is gifting us a bottle of 18-year-old Jameson that I'm personally not going to share with Frank.
Very next question.
But I'm very excited about
was why aren't we opening it up right this second?
Because we don't get it until the charter, bro.
That's why I waited. So, is anybody having a problem with it freezing up? I think 1 or 2 people say something like that. Just shoot us something. And,
are you having freezing issues? Because we're not.
We don't know it, so.
Hopefully
it's freezing like when like on a good side of me or something, where it's like it's always like
What was it like?
Nope. You're gonna screenshot it, weren't
you? So the next question was, someone said, John Anderson said he found a bottle of Eagle Rare and Weller's, and he's sending us both bottles. Big baller. Thank you, John Anderson. I've never tried Eagle Rare, so I look forward to that.
If that happens, I'm taking the next Monday off, okay? And we're going to do it correctly.
Well, next weekend is the Jameson 18. We've already called that.
Okay.
I've already called dibs on that weekend's bottle. But
are you overnighting this? And can you put attention Captain Frank on the box, okay?
Don't do that.
And I'll handle it.
I'm in charge of holding the bottles. We have to keep that strictly confidential.
This is bullshit.
They're all over here. We keep them locked away. Your name goes on it, gets put on the shelf, ready for the show. So
I'm taking a couple home tonight. He doesn't know it yet.
The Doberman will stop you. Thank you, John. Really appreciate it, man. That's awesome.
Your Doberman just smells my butt all day. That's all he does.
My Doberman definitely likes you way too much.
I don't know. Your dog is
he and you are life partners now. That's
your
what
dog
it is.
Gay, and there's nothing. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but
he does love him some Frank. What is the best before our next question, it's time to give away another trip.
Boom.
It's time to give away another trip. So 10-hour all day for 2 guests. 10-hour all day for 2 guests coming at you. Remember, if you're picked as that lucky winner, you got to text that phone number in the upper right-hand corner, your home address, in about 5 minutes to claim that free trip. So let's see here. Who is the lucky winner of the 10-hour all-day trip for 2 guests? William Solner from Lockport, New York. William Solner. That's awesome,
Congratulations.
man. Yeah. Congratulations on a 10-hour all-day trip for 2 guests.
That's great. We have so many people watching from around the country, you know?
Yeah,
it's
amazing.
I know we have a lot of locals watching too, but
it's incredible for sure.
Awesome.
Let's see. Next question. My family has been fishing with Hubbard's Marina for years, especially the 39-hour trip. I was wondering if you could explain the new pricing policy. So what happened in the state of Florida is our wonderful voters decided that it was a great idea to almost literally double the minimum wage from around $7 and change to $15. So small businesses in the state of Florida are scrambling to come up with a plan. And one of our plans is to try to push more online bookings. So that way our staff in the office can focus on helping you at the counter when you're checking in for trips, when you're asking us about tackle, when we're selling bait, when we're rigging up rods for you, and trying to cut down on phone volume. And currently, a lot of people call us to try to avoid that booking fee online. So the goal is the booking fee will be on the phone or online, so it's the same. So the goal is to have more people go online so we don't have to have 3 people up front answering phones and 6 people in the back answering phones and then trying to juggle all the people at the counter too. So the goal is to try to drive more online bookings, and that is trying to make pricing parity. So it doesn't matter if you call, you book, there's a booking fee or convenience fee attached to that booking. If you book in person, there is no booking fee because it's in person and you're at the counter. So what I recommend doing is booking your trips now for the year. You can call us over the phone for the month of January. We're trying to kind of softly roll this out, so we were able to talk our booking company into giving us a little leeway so we can excuse it for the next time you book. Basically, if you call us and talk to me, I'll excuse it for you, and we'll get you booked on some trips. And then when you come in to the office, that's when you can book more trips if you so choose, or you could stop by, or if you're from out of town, I realize it's a little bit of a burden, but when you come into town, you can always book some trips for the rest of the year or your next visit, or book your first visit of the year now over the phone, and I'll excuse it for you. Then when you're on that first visit, you can plan your second visit kind of deal. So there's ways around it. We're trying to help you guys out, but unfortunately, prices have to go up. And this is one of those prices going up, and trying to give you guys better service at the counter. That's the goal here. It's not something we wanted to do. It's something we got to do because cost of goods sold is going up, and that's the economics of business. As cost of goods sold go up, the business has to try to cover that with a raise in gross profit. And the only way to do that is by trying to raise prices. So I apologize. It's not something I hate raising prices. I hate upsetting anybody, but this is a policy that we have to stick to, and we have to push because we want to continue to stay open and stay in business and be that destination for your fun in the sun. So it's only 6%, and it's not 10%. It's not anything too crazy in my opinion, and so it's a small price increase this year, but it's unfortunately something that we have to stick to. So that's my explanation, and I could go on and on about this for 20 minutes, but I'm not going to do that. And I will be happy to talk to you over the phone. If you want to call me tomorrow, my extension is 306. That's our office number, so you can call me at that number, and when the recording starts, dial 306, and I'd be happy to chat with you all about it tomorrow over the phone if you want to talk more and explain it to you more and explain ways how you can get around it more. And you can always call me for the next week or two, and I can excuse the fee for you, but at the end of January, that ability goes away. So book while you can, and then next time you come in, you can book in person and avoid the fee.
So is now not a good time to ask you for a raise?
Now is not a good time.
I'll call you on
Plus, you are considered a longshoreman, and so nothing applies to you.
Real longshoreman. All right. Next question.
How soon can I sign up for the first gag trip of 2021? All trips, all red snapper trips, amberjack trips, gag trips, every trip for the entire 2020 year came available December 1st. So December 1st, all those trips became available. So you can book any of those trips, red snapper trips, gag grouper trips, tomorrow. And I'd recommend booking, recommend booking early and often, especially for red snapper season, because those trips fill up incredibly fast. December 1st, the schedule opened up. The opening weekend of red snapper had 28 people booked on it by 11 a.m. or by 11:45 a.m. So 45 minutes. The schedule opened at 11 a.m. By 11:45, 28 people had booked on the opening day of red snapper. Last year, the opening weekend sold out by the second day. This weekend, or this year, it was much softer. We didn't have as many crazy reservations, but definitely that schedule starts filling up fast. So get it early for sure. What is the best bait for the month of December? It depends on what you're targeting. Sheep's head love fiddler crabs. Hogfish love live shrimp. Gag grouper love big live baits. Red grouper love dead, smelly
That's a tough
bonita.
question because you can go through
every species.
Every species has something different. So it's kind of we need specifics.
Is deep sea fishing catches more prolific in summer rather than spring? I'll give you that. Give that to you, Frank.
Is deep sea catches more prolific in summer than spring? So I like the spring fishing. I certainly do. That's when a lot of the baits are showing up too, and it's in the inshore you'll see all the greenbacks start coming around too. And it's deep sea. Okay, so it is offshore. So yeah, February, March is my favorite time for the hogfish for sure. And yeah, I mean the warmer it gets, the red groupers start coming in too. So we'll see more and more of those as it gets warmer. So yeah. I mean the summer, the summer's still good too. It's just so hot.
Yeah. It definitely starts getting.
We do have 5 tons of air conditioning on the Friendly Fisherman, and it is awesome. And I love you for that this year.
Way overpaid for the AC, but I was really tired about Frank crying.
Oh, come on.
You
were
literally
tired of
threatened
people
to quit.
about dying.
No, you literally threatened to quit if the AC wasn't fixed.
Pretty sure that was Brian.
No, that was you. But I still love you.
We got brand new systems. It was awesome. Brand new everything, and keeps it cold in there now.
And my answer to your question is deep sea fishing better in spring or summer. If deep sea fishing is always good, it depends on when you're available. As long as the weather's good and you're available, it's always a good time to go fishing. Someone I was talking to on the phone, they were local, and they said, well, we're locals. We know we can only fish in the summertime. In the fall is cold, hurricane season, and no one fishes in the wintertime. It's way too rough. So we only fish in the late spring and summer. And it's like, what? In the wintertime is some of the best fishing as long as the weather's good in between fronts. Sometimes that fishing is incredible. Spring and summer during those transitional periods is awesome fishing. Yeah. During hurricane season's almost 8 months. Yeah. If you don't fish during hurricane season, you don't fish very much.
We like that. We like a storm to roll through. I mean, it sucks.
Hurricanes make fishing incredible.
Yeah, to lose business for days or weeks, but at the end of the day, they restack those fish back up on the ledges because they just spread out when it's nice weather for months. So everything just tends to spread out.
Yeah. So let me drop a little bit of quick science on the video.
This is real stuff.
Science. This is scientific knowledge.
And I have no idea what he's about to tell you.
Hurricanes. Everybody hates a hurricane. When a hurricane enters the Gulf of Mexico, it sucks because it's got to go somewhere. Someone's got to get it.
Someone's got to get it.
And it's never good. Yeah. But a big nasty Category 4, Category 5 hurricane is incredibly healthy for the Gulf of Mexico. That storm will rip through the Gulf of Mexico, cause 40, 60-foot seas in the middle Gulf, and it really stirs up the bottom, stirs up those algae, that sedimentation, the chlorophyll, and it really reinvigorates and makes the Gulf more healthy overall, and clears up a lot of that silt on the bottom. Plus, our biggest recruitment spikes for red grouper, red snapper, the biggest pushes of fish that we see this year, we saw with amberjack, are always following those big storms. I think it was Sally, one of the big storms that went up into the northern Gulf, right in, I think it was September-ish, October, or September or August, one of the two. It came up into the northern Gulf, and we were struggling to catch amberjack. That storm went through, we got a huge push of amberjack, and after that storm was one of the best amberjack trips of the entire year, because that storm pushed a bunch of fish over to our area. So those storms really do a lot for the Gulf of Mexico. So fishing is incredible in hurricane season, as long as it's not around one of those hurricanes. The backside of a hurricane, once that water calms down and clears up, great fishing. Always really good fishing. And ahead of a hurricane is also a low pressure system. It gets the fish very excited. It's how a lot of commercial fishermen get in some serious trouble, because they try to stay out there until the very bitter end, because the fishing is incredible. Have you used a release assisted device?
What's that?
Descending device. You make me want to hit you when you say things like that.
I can't help it. I feel like that's what I'm here for.
So venting tool is what we prefer, because we are very, very experienced anglers, and we know where to stick that venting tool, how far to stick it. It's very important to make sure you're very careful with your venting tools and accurate with where you place the venting tool.
Right. Right into your glass.
So it's the venting tools work well, but you have to make sure that you're careful with the fish. You don't want to over penetrate it or stick it in the wrong place. The venting tool, we always use our thumb and forefingers as a guard on the needle to make sure it's only going in maybe a 1/4 inch or less on a smaller fish. And then you never poke the venting tool through that thing that's protruding through its mouth. You're always going in at the base of the pectoral fin. Yep. There's a video on our website called How to Vent a Fish. Just Google it, How to Vent a Fish, Hubbard's Marina. Salt Strong put it out there. It's a great video to show you where to vent it. But a release-assisted device or descending device is really the gold standard. If you don't know what you're doing, if you're not comfortable sticking a sharp object into a fish, a descending device like a sequelizer is primo. Definitely the best way to go if you don't know how to vent a fish or use a venting tool, because venting tools are very important.
There's a lot of good comments.
Yeah, I know. I've been
really,
reading the
you
venting
really were
tool
very
comments.
Specific on that.
I know.
It's a good job.
All right. Yep. I said some things I shouldn't have said in the company of Captain Frank in his maturity level.
That's why we're having fun right now, man.
I can tell that there's a lot of people that think like you, Cam Frank.
Yeah, there is a lot of followers that were thinking the exact same thing as me, and I appreciate that. 'Cause if I was alone in this, it just wouldn't be as funny. But I'm reading these comments, all right, and I won't say what the comments are, because can everybody read everyone else's?
Yes, they can read each other's comments.
Okay, well, there you have it. Do it yourself.
So someone asked a good question in here. Oh, do you have an online store?
Yeah, that's a good question.
On our website, if you are on our Hubbard's Marina website, on the top there's different tabs like fishing trips, private charters, cruises, and then there's the store. So we have gift certificates, and then we have our marina store. And on our online store, we sell our Saltigas, our Saltis, our custom hook extractors that Barracuda Tackle made us, our Hubbard's Marina shirts, our bull bait rods, hats. There's 2 pages of cool stuff.
This is 100% new to me. How long have we had this? I swear to God.
Probably a decade.
No. Are you serious?
Yes, we've always had an online store.
That is awesome. That is terrible that I didn't know that.
So embarrassing.
Well, I've done 10 shows when this has never come up. So, I mean, yeah, I didn't. I mean, I know we have all this stuff for sale, but I didn't know we had it online.
In our shop and our online store.
Sorry, Amanda. I know you're not watching. If you are,
man.
I'll tell everybody about it now.
How good is a red grouper bite in February and March? So the red grouper bite is pretty decent in February and March, but in February and March are the 2 months out of the entire year where we have what's called a deep water grouper closure. It's a 20 fathom closure. So anything beyond 20 fathoms, you can't keep any of the shallow water grouper complex. Red grouper, scamp grouper, strawberry grouper, any of those shallow water groupers you can't keep beyond 120 feet or 20 fathoms during the months of February and March, and that's to protect those groupers out in deep water spawning. So during February and March we catch red grouper, but because of that line issue, we play a little game. On the 39-hour trip, we go a little deeper at night, catch those mangroves, those yellowtails, those vermilions, porgies, and then during the day we come inside that line and we can catch those red grouper and other grouper species. And then once we have them on the boat, we can't go past that 120-foot line again. So February and March is a little tricky. There's some times where you catch a red grouper that you have to throw back if you catch it at night or beyond that 120-foot line. So it's a good time for red grouper, but on the longer range trips like the 39 or 44-hour trips, it's a little tricky. 12-hour extreme, we fish right on that border, so it's not as much of an issue. And if you're asking about red grouper on a 10-hour trip, you don't have to worry about that deep water closure because we're always fishing inside that. What's your opinion on the 10-hour trip in February and March for red grouper?
Well, just a big hunk of bait, man. If you want to catch a red grouper, if that's like your goal, like I know I do, I talk a lot about the hog fishing, but all these places I go for hogfish, we do pull up groupers, but like a big nasty hunk of bonita or a butterfly squirrelfish, and just keep throwing it. I mean, we have guys that have gone out there just to target red groupers because they know the gags are out and they don't care about hogfish, whatever. Some people are like that. They just want their grouper. And throwing a big bait is kind of where it's at. Just something that other fish can nibble on for a while and they're not going to hook themselves. But the red groupers, once a keeper red grouper hits it, he's going to inhale the whole thing.
Yeah, a butterfly, squirrelfish or sand perch, lizardfish, even a gray snapper or white grunt works really well for those red grouper. But I think kind of my one of the go-tos for red grouper would be a bonita strip or even a squid strip kind of cut to mimic an octopus tentacle, or the best is an octopus tentacle, or we sometimes have those baby octopus in the store. So all good options.
Yeah, they're always have a small octopus in them all the time when we're cleaning them. An octopus will pop out, or or the whole squids. But you're just going to have a lot of little fish pick at it. But we've done that many times where we've taken our squid wings from the boat and cut a whole entire slice off it. Big, long, 12, 13-inch slice.
Let's settle at 6 inches, guys. Jeez. It's a lot of squid you're using, Frank.
but we just don't do that a lot. If we're drift fishing, there's a lot of guys that don't want to mess with the gray snappers and porgies and whatnot, and they'll cut a big hunk of bait, and it really doesn't matter. I don't think whether it's squid. They eat everything. They just eat everything. If you throw a big hunk of bait in front of a large red grouper's face, they're gonna eat it.
Butterfly, and it works in my opinion the best. But even a fillet off one of those fish, or even a chunk, staking them up, mullet chunks work really well. So all good options for red grouper. Our next question was, what are they using to catch red grouper? So we kind of covered that in the last question as well.
It's getting late.
I know it's getting late. One more question. What are pelagics? Pelagics are, by definition, a fish that moves around, doesn't stay in one spot, isn't attached to a ledge or a rock pile. So pelagics are things like
mahi, tunas, wahoos, kingfish.
African pompano are considered a pelagic, cobia, all those different species that don't hang on or around the bottom. They're up in the water column and they're constantly moving. Those are pelagic fish. We've got a bunch of other questions that we don't have time to get to. One thing that I do want to shout out real quick that I saw is an update on the sand study. So the sand issue, we've been talking a lot about that. They finally got off their butts, and the county is doing a study with the help of USF, FDOT, and us. So the county randomly sent us an email and a $10,000 bill. They sent the city of Madeira Beach a $10,000 bill and a scope of work. FDOT paid $7,500 and the county paid $7,500. So the people who caused the problems paid $7,500, and the people who are the unwilling recipients of all the sand paid $10,000 to start this 6-month study. And the biggest thing with the study is it started officially probably 4 or 5 days ago, even though we got our thing in early December, and it took 48 hours for us to send in our $10,000 check and a signed contract. It took them almost a month to get the contracts all finalized and the project started. The biggest thing with the study is it takes 6 months, so we're sitting on our hands for 6 months as that study is accomplished, and then at the end of that study, around month 4 or 5, they're going to start giving us suggestions on how to mitigate the sand problem. And then we all have to get in a room and agree to a sand mitigation strategy, and then we have to go down the road of trying to get it approved and contracted. So what I'm trying to do now is kind of put pressure on everybody that, hey, by the end of this 6 months, we need to hit the ground running with action on the strategy. Because what I don't want to happen is 6 months from now, everybody forgets about this issue, it's on the back burner, and all of a sudden they say, hey, you really need to dredge and build a jetty, but no one wants to do it because no one's paying attention to the issue anymore. So the sand study is happening, it started, and unfortunately we got to wait 6 months. And hopefully it's not a whole big ploy to stall us and make us lose momentum, so that way they can tell us to go blow at the end of 6 months. But who knows? Hurry up and wait. That's where we're at on the update with the sand issue. And with that, don't forget to join us next week for another episode of the live stream show every Sunday night right here on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook page. We give away lots of stuff. We have a good time. We enjoy our venting tools. And if you are a Hubbard's Marina supporter, don't forget to join us for the after show, the special after show. If you want to become a supporter of Hubbard's Marina, there's a link right at the top of our Hubbard's Marina Facebook page. Should be a link in the video as well. When you become a supporter, you get access to the private Hubbard's Marina supporters group. You get a supporters badge. You get some private content, exclusive content on the page. Occasionally some unique offers and kind of behind the scenes stuff, and you see us relax a little bit, and it's a good time. So the supporters group has had a lot of good food recipes lately too, or I guess people kind of just showing off their
lots
food.
of foul language too.
Yes, it gets a little bit more colorful on the Hubbard's Marina supporters page. It's kind of a PG-13 rating for sure. So hopefully we'll see a lot of you in that private supporters group for that private after show in about 5 minutes after the show ends. But with that, it is time to give away our last trip of the night, the 39-hour trip for one guest. So let's see who won the 39-hour trip. Thank you, Rhonda, for ending the show out with 100 stars. Morgan Bowl with 50 or 100 stars. Sent us 50 twice. Appreciate it. Appreciate everybody who sent us stars and lots of support tonight.
And thank you, Lori Reinhardt.
Lori Reinhardt with the Dickel 12 year.
A little bit.
All right, so let's see who won that 39-hour trip for one guest. Drum roll, please. Yeah, you were super late.
Sorry.
David Munoz from Lakeland, Florida. Thanks for watching, David, and everybody else for joining us. Remember, if you're that lucky winner, you got to text us in about 5 minutes to claim that free trip. We'll see you all next week, Sunday night, 8:30 p.m. for another live stream show. Don't forget, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too busy. I didn't cue you up. I just said the whole thing. I'm sorry. You were ready.
I saw somebody ask a question. Why isn't my name on the screen also?
Yeah, we
talk about
Josh
that. We'll talk
asked
about that later.
about if changing that since you've been the guest all the time, but we don't always have the same guest. It's just been lately that you've been my guest
You
every
could
week.
just leave it there though, and then people will be like, "Is that Captain Frank?" Be like, "No, that's where he should be sitting."
Yeah, we should.
Join us for the after show, guys.
We'll change it to Captain Dylan and guest. How about that? I don't control this. I don't even know how to put that on the
Why
screen.
don't you just put some guy? I mean, come on,
Dylan and random.
Dylan, random dude.
Well, sometimes it'll be girls. We're gonna have that ladies show eventually.
Yeah.
Hopefully, actually, a little side announcement. We're kind of losing followers, but we are trying to procure a studio. It's actually kind of closer to your house. You'll like it. It's halfway between my house and your house.
Nice.
It's a studio space with about 800 square foot, and the goal would be to have Josh actually running the show, and then you and I can sit at the table, and
That's awesome.
I can really get drunk because I'm not running the show,
And I'll
it'll
just
be a
have
lot
to
more
work
fun.
Wednesdays instead of Mondays.
Yeah, and then
Just do this thing right.
we can have everybody join us. We can have the whole crew there at the
Awesome.
table. It'll
love it. I
it'll
love
be
it.
very unique for sure, and we can have more guests. It'll be pretty cool. Yeah. So that is the goal that we're working towards for 2021. So stay tuned, and we'll see you next week for another episode, guys. Thanks for watching.
See you next Sunday, guys.
See you.